Commerce Alive today presents
10 Defunct Dead Supermarkets. In 1893, Tenenbaum family opened the forerunner of Eagle's chain in Davenport. In 1921, Gaifmans and Eagle Cash and Carry opened small neighborhood markets in the Quad Cities, which specialized in fruits and vegetables. These two operations grew during the 1930s as both family operations added new stores. Eagle's was owned by brothers-in-law Frank Weindruch and Isidore Pesses. Max Gaifman of Rock Island, and his sons, Ben and Morris, owned the Illinois Gaifman stores. Their uncle George and his sons, Morris and Sam, owned the Iowa Gaifman stores. By 1935, self-service had become important in the grocery business, with Eagle and other stores responding by allowing self-service at lower prices. In 1952, Abe Tenenbaum died, and his nephew, Richard Waxenberg, took over Tenenbaum's, and the Illinois Gaifmans merged their 5 stores with the 8 stores of Davenport's Tenenbaum-Waxenberg family. Together they became known as United Supermarkets. In 1954, United merged with 10 stores of Eagle Cash and Carry, forming the largest area chain, called Eagle United Supermarkets. Eagle was purchased by Consolidated Foods Corporation of Chicago. Consolidated operated 68 Piggly Wiggly stores at that time. The Eagle and Piggly Wiggly operations were then combined and operated from Eagle's corporate office and warehouse in Milan, Illinois. In 1965, Coin Bakery was purchased and became a part of Eagle, under the name Harvest Day Bakery. In 1968, California-based Lucky Stores bought Eagle Food Centers from Consolidated Foods Corporation. Eagle Food Centers and Piggly Wiggly stores were renamed Eagle Discount Supermarkets, following Lucky's successful discount pricing program. Lucky established Lucky Midwestern Division headquarters in Milan, Illinois. In 1981, Eagle operated 136 stores and had sales of $1.2 billion. Eagle expanded into the Midwest by opening a new distribution center in Westville, Indiana. In 1985, after 4 years of operation, the Westville Distribution Center closed. In November 1987, Lucky Stores sold majority ownership of Eagle Food Stores to New York-based Odyssey Partners. Odyssey provided a monetary transfusion which allowed Eagle to expand old stores and add new ones. In 1988, new stores opened in Galesburg and the Chicago suburb of Downers Grove. In August 1988, eventually, the company found that it was unable to compete with other chains, such as Jewel Osco, Dominick's, Hy-Vee, Walmart, and Kroger. The first sign of this was the sale of the Harvest Day Bakery in Rock Island, Illinois, to Metz Baking Company in 1998. The company went into Chapter 11 bankruptcy in March 2000. In 2003, Eagle Food Stores ceased operations and sold its assets. Grand Union Supermarkets, later known as Grand Union Family Markets and often referred to simply as Grand Union, is an American chain of grocery stores that does business in upstate New York and Vermont, and used to do business throughout most of the northeastern United States. It operated stores in other areas of the country including the Midwestern and Southeastern states, and internationally in the Caribbean and Canada. The company was founded and headquartered in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and moved to Brooklyn, New York in the early 20th century. Grand Union moved again to Elmwood Park, New Jersey and finally to Wayne, New Jersey before the company was forced into Chapter 7 bankruptcy in 2001 and sold to C&S Wholesale Grocers. After C&S bought Grand Union, it downscaled most of its operations, keeping only a number of stores in upstate New York and New England open. The chain was sold to Tops Friendly Markets in 2012. In 2013, Tops rebranded the remaining Grand Union stores with the Tops logo, and the Grand Union name was discontinued. After Tops Friendly Markets and Price Chopper Supermarkets merged in 2021, the combined entity was forced to sell 12 stores to meet regulatory approval, and on November 9, 2021, C&S Wholesale Grocers announced that they were purchasing the 12 stores and will be converting them to Grand Union stores, reviving the brand. Waldbaum's was a supermarket chain with stores in the New York City boroughs of Brooklyn, Queens, Staten Island, and the Bronx, and in Nassau, Suffolk counties in upstate New York. The chain also for a time operated stores in New Jersey, Connecticut, and Massachusetts. Founded in 1904, Waldbaum's was one of 7 banner store chains owned and operated by A&P Supermarkets, which acquired the chain from its founding family in 1986. Waldbaum's operated full-service traditional supermarkets with varying footprints and store models, and its popular marquee in certain aisles along with good food and reliable service. At its peak in the 1980s, it was the 12th largest supermarket chain in the United States and had 140 stores throughout the New York metropolitan area. All Waldbaum stores featured fresh meats and produce. 62 stores had bakeries and 36 offered pharmacy service. As with other A&P branded stores, Waldbaum's offered in-house products under the America's Choice, America's Choice Kids, America's Choice Gold, Two Forks Bakery, Greenway, Via Roma, Food Basics, Home Basics, Great Atlantic Seafood Market, Mid-Atlantic Country Farms, Woodson, and James, Hartford Reserve, Food Emporium Trading Company, Preferred Pet and Live Better brands. On July 20, 2015, A&P filed for a prepackaged Chapter 11 bankruptcy, following years of financial loss and a struggle to compete with rival grocery chains. The company announced that 3 Waldbaum stores in Carle Place, Riverhead, and Oceanside were set to close. 19 stores were sold to Stop & Shop and Key Food. 5 store locations were purchased by Best Yet Market in November 2015, and 3 locations to Wakefern Food Corporation, owner of the ShopRite food chain. All Waldbaum stores were sold or closed by November 2015. Genuardi's Family Markets, Incorporated was a family-owned grocery store chain based in the Norristown, Pennsylvania, area. Long a family-owned enterprise, Genuardi's offered a full line of groceries and specializes in prepared foods. Some of the company's stores feature coffee bars, pizza bars, and sandwich stations, and some stores offer delicacies such as imported pasta, polpettes, and cappuccino cake. Genuardi's also owns Zagars Incorporated, an upscale grocery store chain in New Jersey. The company was recognized in 1999 as Family Business of the Year by the Wharton School of Business and the Pennsylvania Small Business Development Council. More than 7,000 Genuardi employees operate 33 stores in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware. In February 2001, the Genuardi family sold the chain to Safeway. In the summer of 2004, it faded from the Philadelphia landscape by 2015. Dominick's was a Chicago-area grocery store chain located in Oak Brook, Illinois, which Dominic DiMatteo founded the chain in 1918. The second Dominick's opened in 1934. In 1950, the DiMatteos opened their first supermarket. By 1968, the chain had reached 19 stores. The family elected to sell their store to the Cleveland company Fisher Foods. The DiMatteos continued to operate the chain under the financial backing of Fisher Foods. Under Fisher, Dominick's acquired 24 stores plus a distribution center in Northlake from Kroger in 2 separate transactions in 1970. The new acquisitions from Kroger increased the number of stores to 45. The Northlake Distribution Center, which was originally built by Kroger in 1961, was used by Dominick's until the chain was closed. The family had become unhappy with the agreement and bought back the chain in 1981 for $100 million. They continued to expand and had acquired 4 stores from Kohl's and 16 stores from Eagle in 1982 and 1985 respectively. Dominick's took the food and drug combo to the next level with the introduction of the Dominick's Fresh Store in 1993. The Dominick's Fresh Store introduced prepared foods, in-store restaurants/cafes, Starbucks cafes, soft lighting, upscale subtle graphics, uniform product signage, and a general European market feel. During the late 1990s, the Fresh stores were the main expansion model and was rolled out to all new stores until 1998 when Safeway purchased the company, changed it to the style of Safeway. Over time, Dominick's closed stores due to lack of sales and overall poor performance. In 2011 and 2012 they closed a total of 7 stores. Just a year later it was announced that most Dominick stores would be closed in the Chicago area by December 28, 2013, which all remaining stores will close by that date. Pathmark was a defunct supermarket brand owned by A&P, now revived by Allegiance Retail Services, a retailer's cooperative based in Iselin, New Jersey, USA. Pathmark currently has 1 location in East Flatbush, Brooklyn, New York, which it has operated since 2019. From 1968 until 2015, Pathmark operated a chain of supermarkets throughout the northeastern United States. The chain was founded by Supermarkets General, which previously operated ShopRite stores as a member of the Wakefern Cooperative and chose to go into business for itself as a direct competitor. The company would eventually take the Pathmark name and would later be purchased by competing supermarket chain A&P in 2007. Before its initial closure, Pathmark previously operated stores in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, Delaware, and Maryland. In 2007, Supermarket News ranked Pathmark number 31 in its annual Top 75 North American Food Retailers based on Pathmark's 2006 estimated sales of $4.1 billion. Based on 2005 revenue, Pathmark was the 67th largest retailer in the United States. Pathmark is well known by baby boomers for its radio and television commercials starring character actor James Karen, who was the chain's spokesperson for more than 20 years. Pathmark's original spokesperson was Arlene Francis, who appeared in its commercials beginning almost immediately after Pathmark left the ShopRite Cooperative. Peter-produced Pete Napolitano had starred in many of the company's commercials from 2001 until 2009. After A&P filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in 2015, Pathmark's remaining stores were liquidated and closed. In 2016, Allegiance Retail Services purchased the Pathmark name and all intellectual property with the intention of reviving the well-known brand. The brand's first new location under Allegiance ownership opened April 12, 2019, in Brooklyn, New York. The company has stated that they will see how this first location performs before opening additional locations. A&P was an American chain of grocery stores that operated from 1859 to 2015. From 1915 through 1975, A&P was the largest grocery retailer in the U.S. and, until 1965, the largest U.S. retailer of any kind. A&P was considered an American icon that, according to the Wall Street Journal, was as well known as McDonald's or Google is today. At its peak in the 1940s, A&P captured 10% of total U.S. grocery spending. Known for innovation, A&P improved consumers' nutritional habits by making available a vast assortment of food products at much lower costs. Until 1982, A&P also was a large food manufacturer. A&P was founded in 1859 as Gilman & Company by George Gilman, who opened a small chain of retail tea and coffee stores in New York City, and then expanded to a national mail-order business. The firm grew to 70 stores by 1878. By 1900, it operated almost 200 stores. A&P grew dramatically by introducing the economy store concept in 1912, growing to 1,600 stores by 1915. After World War I, it added stores that offered meat and produce, while expanding manufacturing. In 1930, A&P, by then the world's largest retailer, reached $2.9 billion in sales, $50.8 billion today with 15,000 stores. In 1936, it adopted the self-serve supermarket concept and opened 4,000 larger stores by 1950. After two bankruptcies, A&P finally closed the last of its doors in 2015. Bohack full company name H.C. Bohack, also referred to as Bohack's, was a chain of grocery stores located in the New York City area that opened in 1887 and closed in 1977. They were headquartered in Maspeth, Queens. The founder, Henry C. Bohack, opened the first store on Fulton Street in Brooklyn. Throughout the 1960s, Bohack purchased Deutsche Shopwell, Packers, and several other supermarket businesses. Stores throughout the company's existence were located in New York City, on Long Island, in Westchester County, New York, and Fairfield County, Connecticut. Bohack also owned and incorporated gas stations in the 1920s and 30s. Acquiring businesses led Bohack's to also expand and acquire other supermarket chains such as Packers and Deutsche Shopwell. Bohack's expansion and acquisitions would prove to be fatal for the company, as the recession of the 1970s would cause the company to go through multiple bankruptcies until they closed their stores for good in 1977. The Penn Fruit Company was a regional grocery chain in the Philadelphia and Baltimore areas that operated from 1927 until 1979. During the firm's history, it was regarded as one of the most innovative American supermarket chains. The Penn Fruit Company was a regional grocery chain in the Philadelphia and Baltimore areas. Was founded in 1927 by three Philadelphia merchants, Morris Kaplan, Isaac Kaplan, and Samuel Cook, as a produce store at 52nd and Market Streets in Philadelphia. The store used low prices and heavy promotions to drive sales. The store was so successful that it was soon doing $10,000 a week in sales. The success of that initial store attracted John McClatchy, a local builder, to commission the young company to build a produce and seafood store in what would be Philadelphia's first shopping center. However, rivals such as A&P, Food Fair, later known as Pantry, Pride, and Acme, were opening discount stores of their own, and in 1973, Acme's 173 Philadelphia area stores launched a price war against Penn Fruit's 12 warehouse markets. This move set off a series of events that would lead to the latter's downfall. After nearly 2 years, the bottom fell out. Penn Fruit, unable to compete, filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy and began selling off most of its non-supermarket holdings. It then later closed all but a handful of its supermarkets, including the last of its Baltimore division, now called Big Value, which were sold to Foodorama, a local Baltimore chain now part of Shoppers Food and Pharmacy. A super value division with the remaining 17 stores sold to Food Fair in 1975. Some of the former Penn Fruit stores became shop and bag cooperative stores. Penn Fruit continued as a division of Pantry Pride until the latter filed bankruptcy 2 years later, with those units being absorbed by a variety of competitors. Food Fair, also known by its successor name Pantry Pride, was a large supermarket chain in the U.S. It was founded by Samuel N. Friedland and his brother George I. Friedland, who opened the first store as Reading Giant Quality Price Cutter in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, in the late 1920s. As of 1957, Food Fair had 275 stores, and at its peak, the chain had more than 500 stores. In 1958, Food Fair purchased Setzer Supermarkets, a 38-store chain in the Jacksonville, Florida, area. In 1961, Food Fair bought J.M. Field's Department Stores, a chain of discount department stores in New England. The latter chain grew substantially, expanding to areas already served by Food Fair, particularly in Florida. By the 1960s, most J.M. Field's store shopping centers featured a J.M. Field's, Food Fair, or Pantry Pride grocery store. The first Pantry Pride store opened its doors at 9 a.m. on August 26, 1964, in Hazlet, New Jersey, test running a no-frills discount store approach. Soon, the stores that were under the Pantry Pride logo eventually became more popular than the Food Fair brand. By the early 1970s, Food Fair had converted most of its stores to the Pantry Pride banner. In 1978, Food Fair fell victim to financial problems when entered bankruptcy that year, and a new management team began streamlining the 456-store, $2.7 billion company. By the end of 1978, the company took the first steps out of bankruptcy by closing all J.M. Field stores. Those stores were quickly purchased by Caldor, Jefferson Ward, and Kmart. In early 1979, the company left their home market of Philadelphia, where the firm was headquartered. The company closed more than 50 stores in the area, even though they were the second largest chain in Greater Philadelphia in market share. Between 1979 and 1981, more than 200 stores, several warehouses were closed and emerged from bankruptcy, new headquarters now based in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Pantry Pride outsourced their wholesale operations to Super Value and sold their Miami and Jacksonville distribution centers. The company then began selling off most of their assets when they sold all their remaining stores, except 40 stores in southern Florida still remained. By 1985, the last stores in southern Florida were sold to Red Apple Group, a New York supermarket chain owned by John Katsimatidis. By 1986, the name of Pantry Pride was changed to Revlon Group. By 1990, the chain was being supplied by the Fleming Companies. The last store opened in 1991 in Sunny Isles, Florida. By this time, nearly all of the stores were renamed Woolies, after Bill Woolley acquired the latter named chain of 7 stores in the late 1980s. The remaining stores were either closed or sold by 2000.
If you have any fond memories, please indicate it at the comments below. Thanks for watching, subscribe, and like.